Good morning. This lesson is for my Trig-Precalc class. This is for, I believe, chapter 3. I want to say lesson 3, 4, 5, 6, or 7. I've lost track, but it's one of these lessons. I probably is 5. The last lesson I incorrectly said lesson 4, so we'll just assume it's 5. I'm probably wrong, but that's okay. But let me make sure I'm recording before I move on. I am. All right, so we have 3 goals today. Pretty simple lesson. First goal, I want to review the ice cream lesson. The second goal, I want to define the tangent function. And our third goal is I want to find the values of tangent on the unit circle. All right, so remember the ice cream story, or the ice cream lesson was a lesson about division. And I'm talking about division because you can see here in the next goal that tangent is about division. And so it's really important that we have a good understanding of the behavior of division. And so the ice cream story, remember, I have a scoop, or I have a tub of ice cream, and this tub of ice cream, I can take 100 scoops with my normal spoon. And you guys correctly, conceptually understood that the larger the spoon got, the less scoops of ice cream you could take because you took more ice cream with every scoop. And you correctly understood the smaller the spoons got, the more scoops you could take because you're taking less ice cream with every scoop, therefore you can take more scoops. And that's going to become a very important concept in the next lesson when I talk about tangent, because we're going to use the graphs of sine and cosine to graph tangent. But for this one, I just want to define tangent and show you how to calculate the values on the unit circle. Now, I'm going to check off the first goal. I think that's good enough. And let's define tangent. Tangent is, in SOHCAHTOA, is the TOA, T-O-A. And its tangent is the opposite of the adjacent. But the opposite was the sine and the adjacent was the cosine. And as we see on our unit circle, that sine is the y-coordinate and cosine is the x-coordinate. And remember, A is either an angle measure or an arc length. It's how far we travel on the circle. So we can conclude here that the definition of tangent that I need us to understand is tangent of A is equal to the y-coordinate over the x-coordinate. So I'm going to go ahead and erase this, pause the video, and then continue with our third goal, finding the values of the tangent on the unit circle. So I'll be back. I'm back. All right, so let's move on to the third part of our lesson. And that's going to be to find values of tangent on the unit circle. And I'm going to check off the second goal because I already did that. All right. So I want to review a couple things before I get started. Because remember, the values on the unit circle are fractions. And we have y-coordinates being divided by, I'm looking over there. I have y-coordinates being divided by x-coordinates. And look, we got fractions being divided by fractions. And so what I wrote was, we're going to rewrite fractions divided by fractions. On those, a divided by b over c divided by b. Both of these fractions have the same denominator. And what you do to get rid of fractions on top of fractions is you take the reciprocal of the denominator, which is a fancy way to say flip the fraction in the bottom over, and you write it over itself twice. So I'm technically going to multiply this by the value of 1. And notice I have a lot of canceling out. This b cancels that b, this b cancels that b, this B, or C, learn my alphabet, cancels that C, and I'm now left with A times 1, which is A, B times, or 1 times C, which is C. These all canceled out and became 1, and anything divided by 1 becomes that anything. So this is what we're going to be dealing with when we write the tangent of any of these. The next thing I want to talk about is rationalizing the denominator. And the way that I'm going to do that is I'm going to multiply the numerator and the denominator by the square root of b. All right, now we don't cancel, but now I have square root of b times square root of b, which is square root of b squared. And remember, square roots cancel squares, and I'm left with now a times the square root of b over b. All right, and that's how we're going to rationalize the denominator. That's what we're going to get. The last one, I'm going to rationalize the denominator when I have two radicals. So again, I'm going to multiply the numerator denominator by the square root of b, which is technically 1. Again, just like before, I have square root of b squared, so I get to have a b, and I have square root of a times the square root of b. Now, you can actually put these guys into the same square root, and we get the following: square root of a times b over b. This is what I'd like to see when we do this. I keep forgetting where my camera is. I'm having a tough day today. All right. So again, let's move on to our third goal: finding the tangent of an angle or a length, and it's the y-coordinate divided by the x-coordinate. So if I want the tangent of 0 degrees or the tangent of 0 pi, I'm going to say tangent of 0 pi, that's equal to my y-coordinate divided by my x-coordinate. Well, if you have nothing to share with one person, then each person gets nothing. Okay. Let's look at our next one. Tangent, we'll do pi over 6. Tangent of pi over 6. Again, this is my y-coordinate over my x-coordinate. Now, remember, over here, basically whatever I had in the numerators for both fractions become what I have left over. So I can use that over here. So I will now get, the 2's will cancel out, and I'll now be left with 1 over the square root of 3. Let me make sure I'm still in the camera. I think I might be going a little wide here. No, I'm okay. And now I'm here, so that means I can take these numbers and plug them in like this, and I get square root of 3 times 1, which is square root of 3, over 3. So the tangent of pi over 6, or the tangent of 30 degrees, is square root of 3 over 3. Tangent of 45 degrees, or length of pi over 4, you could use all of this unless you realize that you're dividing the same number by itself, which is equal to 1. I can now talk about tangent of pi over 3. And again, it's my y-coordinate over my x-coordinate. And I'm going to use my first rule. So whatever is in my numerators or my fractions with the same denominators, I'm going to put that into my new fraction. And I get square root of 3 divided by 1. Or just square root of 3. So again, this is how we find the value of the tangent on the unit circle. Let's just quickly talk about the last one here. So tangent of pi over 2. That's equal to my y value divided by my x value. And we run into a problem, because I am not allowed to divide by 0. So there are places that tangent's called undefined, right? So tangent is undefined at 90 degrees or pi over 2, because we're dividing by 0. And if you remember, undefined in mathematics means we don't agree about what the meaning is. Right? Some of us think that if we scoop with a spoon that has no size, we can scoop forever, have an infinite value, and others of us think if we scoop with a spoon with no size, that makes no sense. So there's 0 scoops. So there's an argument. And that's why dividing by 0 is undefined. So hopefully this helps you to understand how we find the tangent values on the unit circle. And I'd like you for the homework to finish the unit circle and find all the tangent values. It's really not that hard to do. And then again, like I said, the next lesson we're going to look at the graphs of sine and cosine and use that to create the graph of tangent. So that's going to do it for us today. I hope everybody has a good day. Bye-bye.